Hello, my friends. Welcome to week number 23 of Napoleon Hill's A Year of Growing Rich. This week's title is Welcome Help from Others. Clear thinking never comes from a worried mind. Smart people know this, and they do something about it by seeking the aid of others whose minds are not clouded by fears and worries. During the early stages of the Great Depression, John Collier came to my office with a problem that had worried him until he was physically ill. He had the answer to his problem, but his state of mind didn't permit him to recognize it. Mr. Collier was a shoe manufacturer in Boston. When the Depression started, the bank holding some of his notes closed him out and took over his equipment. He couldn't get another loan without collateral. A few simple questions revealed these facts. He was an experienced shoe manufacturer of more than 20 successful years. He had an established line of buyers who had patronized him from the beginning of his business. He was a deacon in one of the most prominent churches in Boston, and his home life was happy. As I summed up his assets, I told Mr. Collier that he was rich in life's values, which count for most. "Yes, I know," he replied, "but I'm broke." "A man who has the sort of assets that you possess is never broke," I replied, "because you are the best security anyone can have." "But banks don't think so." "No, banks don't," I explained, "but there are other ways of finding people who do. Now here is what I suggest you do. Call a meeting of 10 of the most prominent men you know, men who have substantial financial means and the same number of merchants who have been buying shoes from you. Ask them to lend you the money you need to set yourself up in business again." I had hardly finished speaking when Mr. Collier's eyes lost the glassy look of fear. He began to smile, took a notebook from his pocket, and began to write. After he finished, he handed the book to me, and it contained the names of only 5 men, each a former customer of his. "There," he said, "are the names of 5 men who will come to my rescue. They bought shoes from me for many years. They know my product, and they have confidence in both me and my shoes. I'll get the financial help I need from them by giving them an extra discount on all the shoes that buy from me in the future." Then I explained to Mr. Collier that he had adopted the same plan which served Henry Ford so well during his early days of the Ford Motor Company. He got the operating capital he needed, I explained, from the men who purchased his automobiles, his dealers. "It is all very clear to me now," Mr. Collier remarked. "But what puzzles me is why I didn't think of this before coming to see you. The same question has bothered many other people who have the answer to their own problems but have to get others to reveal it to them." Mr. Collier went back to Boston. 7 months later, I received a letter from him explaining what had happened with his plan. With the letter was a fine pocket watch inscribed to Napoleon Hill, who introduced me to my other self. The inscription told the entire story. All I did was loosen Mr. Collier from the grip of fear that had caused him to set up unnecessary limitations for himself in a time of need. The finest lesson anyone can learn is through discovery of this fact. Our greatest asset is our ability to procure the help of those who can and will happily give us counsel when our own resourcefulness fails. So there you have it, week number 23. Welcome help from others. Stumbled through it, but I did get through it. Make it a great week, and I will see you next week.